Who raised the monster? The unsettling childhood and parents of Jeffrey Epstein. Meta description: Jeffrey Epstein's early years remain shrouded in mystery. We dig into public records, census data, and old reports to uncover the family dynamics and environment that shaped one of history's most notorious figures. Introduction: the question of nature versus nurture. The name Jeffrey Epstein evokes images of immense wealth, unspeakable crimes, and a mysterious network of powerful associates. But before the private jets and the island, there was a boy from Coney Island, Brooklyn. Understanding what kind of person he became requires a forensic look at the people who raised him and the environment that formed him. Public records paint a picture of a contentious, striving, and ultimately fractured home life. The parents, Seymour and Pauline Epstein. Public records including U.S. Census data, city directories, and newspaper snippets tell the story of a lower middle-class family struggling for stability. Seymour Epstein, the father, occupation, listed in various records as a horticulturist or groundskeeper for the New York City Parks Department. He worked maintaining green spaces, including, at one point, the grounds at Coney Island. Personality: by nearly all accounts, including those from neighbors and later from Jeffrey himself in rare comments, Seymour was a proud but difficult man. He was described as having a strong work ethic but also a quick temper and a contentious personality. He was involved in several public disputes with neighbors and city officials. Public records insight: a 1966 article in the Brooklyn Courier highlights a feud Seymour had with a neighbor over a fence line, depicting him as stubborn and combative. This aligns with other reports of him being a litigious individual, quick to defend what he saw as his territory or rights. Pauline Epstein née Stolovsky, the mother, occupation, a homemaker for much of Jeffrey's childhood. Later records suggest she may have worked clerical jobs. Personality: described by those who knew her as quiet, long-suffering, and dominated by her strong-willed husband. She is often portrayed in the background of the family's dramas. The dynamics suggest a classic case of a passive parent paired with an authoritarian one. The home environment: strife and striving. The Epstein household was not a happy one. The key characteristics emerging from reports are: pervasive conflict. The relationship between Seymour and Pauline was notoriously rocky. Neighbors reported frequent, loud arguments that could be heard from the street. This environment of constant tension and unresolved conflict is a significant psychological factor in any child's development. Social ambition and resentment. Despite their modest means, the Epsteins, particularly Seymour, harbored aspirations for more. They were described as feeling above their neighbors and their situation. This instilled a powerful drive for status and wealth in their sons, Jeffrey and his younger brother Mark. It was a home where striving for escape and proving one's worth were likely central themes. The genius narrative. From a young age, Jeffrey Epstein was labeled as brilliant or a genius by his parents, especially his mother. This placed immense pressure on him to be exceptional and may have fostered a sense of entitlement or a belief that ordinary rules did not apply to him. The monster was not raised in a vacuum. It is a profound oversimplification to blame Epstein's horrific actions solely on his parents. However, developmental psychology shows that the foundational blueprint for relating to others is laid in childhood. The Epstein household provided a specific set of conditions, a model of dysfunctional relationships built on power, control, and conflict rather than empathy and respect. A driving need to escape a humble background and achieve immense wealth and status as a form of validation. A potential sense of intellectual superiority that could evolve into a justification for exploiting others perceived as lesser. These factors didn't create a monster on their own. But they provided the fertile ground in which Jeffrey Epstein's pathologies, his narcissism, his predatory nature, his obsession with power and control could take root and grow exponentially once he gained the means to act on them without consequence. Conclusion: the unanswered questions. Public records can only tell us so much. They show us the what, the jobs, the addresses, the public disputes. They cannot show us the private humiliations, the silent treatments, or the exact words spoken behind closed doors. We know Seymour and Pauline Epstein raised a deeply troubled man. They provided a childhood marked by strife and a pressure to succeed. But the full transition from a bright boy from Brooklyn to a predatory billionaire remains the darkest of mysteries. The parents may have built the launchpad, but Jeffrey Epstein alone chose his destructive path into the abyss. Why didn't someone share the good news of Jesus Christ with them? This man may have made better choices had he had a strong biblical foundation and moral models to follow. Only God knows, but I pray for the healing of all the victims. May God lead them to people who can bring the healing touch of Jesus into their lives. Lady Janice, EmbraceAmazing.org. What do you think? How much does our upbringing dictate our future? Share your thoughts.